Today's video has some really surprising finds and an ending that, stick around for it. That's all I'm gonna say. Before we get into today's video though, let me tell you about today's sponsor, AllPowers, and their portable power station. The world has experienced a lot of crazy weather events lately, which has left a lot of people stranded without power. Many families have found themselves vulnerable in serious times of need. Here in California, there's a lot of heat waves that have been happening, which has really stressed the power grids, which has made power go out at different times. Having a backup source to keep our refrigerator plugged in, our Wi-Fi router running, or any other needs that we have for power would be critical. Enter AllPowers Portable Power Station. This portable energy source is built for circumstances in which plugging into the wall might be inconvenient, risky, or simply not available. And it's not just for emergencies either. What about outdoor family movie nights? Or maybe you're doing some work outside in the yard where an outlet is inaccessible. You can bring the power station out with you, plug in, and you're good to go. But what's really interesting about this thing is how it charges. Yes, you can plug it into a wall and charge it up. You can even plug it into your car and it will charge it, but you can also use solar panels, and the solar panels will charge it in just 2 hours. You'll get a full charge that will last you many hours of use. So even if you're without power, you can still charge the portable power station. It also comes with smartphone controls and conveniently comes with what AllPowers calls the UPS function, and the battery used to power the portable power station is built to last. Even if used daily, AllPowers says it will work for up to 10 years or more. And to make things even more secure, there are multiple safety measures built in and so much more. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're not near a power source, like going camping or doing outdoor game nights, or God forbid you're in an emergency situation, you gotta check out the AllPowers Portable Power Station. There's more information in the link in the description below. Thank you so much to AllPowers for sponsoring today's video. Question: when is it enough? And what do you do when it is enough?
It's probably been a couple of months since I've been at a swap meet.
We're gonna game hunt to get the funds for the manual.
And I'm really excited to be back.
And we're gonna also be asking this question of, when is it enough?
So what's it been, like 2 months?
At least.
At least. It's been a long time. We've had conventions, bicycle trade events, but today we're hunting.
Yes. I'm
Back.
hunting for what I'm always hunting for.
A good time.
Exactly.
Let's go.
It has been so long since we've been able to get to the swap meet.
All right, we had to activate sweater mode, cardigan mode.
My home away from home, my happy place.
Good morning, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm doing very good.
Where is the kids? The clothes?
They're just on my phone in pictures right now. They're at home sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
They don't get up this early.
I think we need to do something nice for Maria one of these days.
When's your birthday?
My birthday.
What month?
That would be a good idea.
I want to do something super fun for her birthday, and I got a plan in mind. It is tempting to want to get one of those Wii Fit balance boards, especially in the box.
Let me just be clear, nothing good comes from a Wii Fit balance board. No one needs those. Everyone had a Wii Fit balance board, but do you know anyone who ever used a Wii Fit balance board? I do not, because that device, as beautiful as it is in concept, I don't know that in execution it was what we thought it would be. Much like the Wii itself, it was an amazing step technologically towards a new way of playing video games, but you could see that it just needed a little bit more to bake into the concept. Also, working out and playing a video game, I don't know that it's ever really worked for me as much as just being out in an environment where you can run. You know, but I'm not gonna dog it. I love that Nintendo did this. Also, Nintendo, sponsor my channel. Sponsor it. As someone who's been actively in the hobby collecting video games for over 10 years, plus all the stuff I had before I got into actively collecting, I've observed that collectors go through different seasons and times when it comes to this hobby. Season 1 of collecting video games is about getting all of your favorite childhood games back from when you were a kid. Did you trade your Nintendo 64 collection in to get a new GameCube? Time to go get all those games back. The next season of collecting is about buying everything you can. Is it cheap? Cool, I need it. Will I ever play it? Probably not, but I'm at least building a collection. The next season of collecting is about curation. It's about quality over quantity. It's about getting rid of a bunch of the excess stuff that you know you're never gonna play. I used to have over 3,000 physical copies of video games in my collection, but I'm down now to under 2,500 with plans to get rid of even more. But the N64 stuff stays. Which brings me to this current stage of collecting, where I'm going for the manual to complete the Nintendo 64 set. Yes, I'm still curating my collection, and I still plan to get the manual for the Nintendo 64 set so I can officially complete it as a complete in-box set, but things feel different now. When I first started collecting, the NES library felt like a vast abyss of endless knowledge and information. every time I would go to an expo or see an NES game at a game store or see a game box, it was like seeing it for the first time. I didn't have any of this YouTube stuff to really guide me along in the journey, and as I discovered YouTube and watched hidden gems videos and all these things, it feels like there's not really anything left in the NES library to learn. Even though I'm sure there are some things, it doesn't feel quite as new and sparkly as it once did.
Oh, really? How much this? 40?
The Wii U console for 40. It's about what they sell for, and it doesn't look like it's in the best condition.
No.
Do you have games too, or just the system?
Men of Valor is one of a handful of games that came out in this era where we were really big on World War II first-person shooters, so it seemed like you needed to switch it up and do something different, so there was a bunch of games that came out focusing on the Vietnam War. In Call of Duty and in Medal of Honor, the games make you feel a bit like you're a hero, and in Vietnam, it's a far more sinister, dark presentation to the games. And I'm not meaning to make any commentary on the wars themselves or the politics, but just in the way that these games are presented. Those games never really caught on. There's never been a Vietnam era video game, at least that I'm aware of or that's coming to mind, that made them compelling and must-play experiences in the way that the Call of Duty and Medal of Honor series ended up being.
Womp womp.
My favorite game series, though, from this era is actually the Brothers in Arms games. I love these games. These are really great strategy slash first-person shooter games. There's a strategy element into it, but then it reverts back to a first-person shooter perspective to play out the missions. What are some of your favorite first-person shooters? Let me know in the comments below. And any other Brothers in Arms fans? Love to see this series or this concept as a series of this gameplay concept come back for modern consoles.
How are you?
Good, it's been a minute.
How are you guys? How you doing, man?
All right.
Good to see you.
Out of the generosity of his heart, Daniel hooks us up with the first grab of the morning.
I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Got this Star Wars book and a PS2 memory card. Thank you so much, sir, for the kindness.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto poster.
Lately, my kids and I have watched all 11 Star Wars feature films pretty much in a span of about 2-ish weeks.
We started with 4, 5, and 6, the originals. Then 1, 2, and 3, then 7, 8, and 9, and then the two, like Rogue One and the other one. I have a feeling that they will read it voraciously. Yeah, they're at the perfect age for it. One of my daughters will read it probably in a day, because that's just who she is, and I love that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I was good seeing you.
And it's such a fascinating experience watching those movies with the kids, because watching these movies when they came out, I was watching them in succession of when they actually came out in theaters. So, you know, in the late 80s or the 80s for the Star Wars movies, I was a kid, maybe watch those at home. But then when Phantom Menace came out, there was all this hype around it and all this build up to it. Then the movie came out, and I remember kind of thinking like, oh, this is a pretty cool movie or whatever. Could barely get through to
rough and irritating.
that. Spoiled it for me, and I just didn't want to even see 3.
Well, that's not exactly what I meant.
And then when episode 7 came out, I was thrilled. I wanted to see what they would do because I trusted J.J. Abrams as a director. And 7, 8, and 9, I think there's a lot of good in those movies, but also some serious misfires in them as well. When you watch them all together and you don't have the anticipation, the build up, the hype, you just look at it as the stories, the characters, it's such a different experience. And it was one of the most magical things. I wish to God I had my cell phone out recording this moment, because the moment in episode 5 when we realized that Darth Vader is Luke's father, one of my kids turned around and I could see her brain fall out of her skull, that her jaw dropped on the floor, and she's just like,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
it was the ultimate sort of movie moment that I think she'll remember the rest of her life, because it was that insane. And just forgetting like how magical those movies and those moments are. When you watch them all like this, it really is a different feeling, and especially with kids who have never seen them before, it changes the whole perspective on it. Great films. Some.
What did you say?
When I first got into collecting and I first started seeing NES boxes, I was transported immediately back to being a child and walking into Toys R Us with my mom and dad to pick out a brand new game for my collection. And it was like, I loved it all. Every part of collecting felt so exciting and new and vast and open. But as I've gotten older and as I've gone through this collecting journey, every NES game sort of feels like familiar at this point. It doesn't all feel new. And that changes things, and it brings some clarity to where I am as a collector right now. But as that feeling of familiarity sets in and that sparkle fades a little bit, I find myself wanting to recapture the initial high from when I first started getting into collecting. So what do? Well, we do things like prize variants for whatever reason. If the NES cartridge has 5 screws, we value it more than the one that has 3 screws. Is there a box misprint or a variant or a cartridge color difference? All of those things make it more exciting because it feels like it's new again. I think in some sort of a way, this is our attempt at trying to recapture that initial first feeling of excitement when everything felt brand new. In addition, I find it interesting that we're changing some of the application of words like rare and grail when it comes to collecting video games. At some point, everything has something rare about it, or everything's a grail. And if everything's a grail, that makes us justify spending the money on getting those things, but at the same time, if everything's a grail, nothing's a grail. It's all just terms and language and things to maybe recapture some of the initial excitement around collecting video games.
There he is indeed. What's up, man?
Okay.
Mike.
Good
Nice to
footage
meet you.
already this morning?
Always.
Yeah?
Full Sega Saturn collection, complete in box, and they only wanted $20. I was like, here you go.
Man, you must have scooted back to like 1999.
It was wild.
Right now, the channel is so close to 30,000 subscribers. Would love if you would click the subscribe button. Make sure to also hit the like button. It helps so much with the video getting to more and more people to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Let's keep hunting. So we're walking away from Daniel's booth, and it's pointed out to me that there's this beautiful bag sitting up against a vehicle, and I'm thinking,
Are you selling the bag?
$3.
Sure, I'll do that.
this is a Persona 5 bag from Atlas. I don't know from what event it is in reference to, but it's the real thing. Atlas is an amazing company.
This looks like something at a convention.
I wonder if it came with a collector's item.
Amazing first find of the morning. Thank you so much, people.
Probably somebody wants it.
I don't even know what to value this at, but I think I've got a gift idea in mind for a certain JRPG couple. You know who it's for. It's, or maybe you don't. Maybe do you know who it's for? Who is it for? Who do you think it's for? Who do you think it's for?
What do you got on this?
I don't know. I'm asking 15.
Yeah, done.
A PSP for $15. I tried to give the seller more money. He's a friend of mine, but he wouldn't take
I
it.
tested it out. It doesn't fully charge.
The batteries in these have all essentially expanded, if not exploded, which is not good. But what it also means is if you get a PSP somewhere and it doesn't turn on, or someone says, oh, I can't charge it or whatever, that's meaningless. All of these, 100% of these, have batteries that no longer work in them anymore.
Do you have a charger for it somewhere?
I left it at my home.
Okay.
This is such an underrated console. And I remember when this was the handheld console du jour for so many back when it came out, and it was just such an impressive piece of technology for its time. But even to this day, I think the games on it are fantastic. I remember when this thing came out, I was like, that's it, DS lost, Nintendo lost, because of how impressive the tech that was on this. And yet, Nintendo certainly did not lose. And then they made the Vita. God bless the Vita. Just love that Vita.
How much are the games?
55. But if you get it all, I'll give you a better.
Okay, and then these 4 games for $15.
We grabbed for $15 the Insane Trilogy, Dark Souls 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I've never played this game before.
We just found the poster for that.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto poster. We did, didn't we?
Yeah, and we didn't pick it up.
We will now.
You're too generous. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Lap 1 is done. This is incredible already. $15 for the games, $15 for the PSP. These were free, and this was $3. That's a good start to the morning. And we got to go to lap 2 now because there's still a lot more to see.
I know that of its generation, the Xbox 360 is very desirable right now, especially with the store closing. However, the PS3 is no slouch. Between the two consoles, I think the 360 was the far better console technologically. The games played better for the most part, but that doesn't mean the PS3 sucks. In fact, there's a lot of great games and great gameplay experiences like these guys on the PS3. We've got Lord of the Rings War in the North, Lord of the Rings Conquest. It's from Pandemic, which is the people who I believe are responsible for the Star Wars Battlefront games, but it's basically Star Wars Battlefront with Lord of the Rings. And then this God of War collection.
I love Hot Shots.
It's so simple, but it's so.
I like the idea of Mario Golf, but I prefer Hot Shots.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Actually, I actually got really into Mario Golf on the 3DS.
Me too. I feel like that's something people really like.
I don't normally go for disc only, but for harder to find niche games like Hatsune Miku, I'm gonna take the risk on it. And then this is one of those just JRPGs that I just think one day in the future people will be looking for. This is The Witch and the 100 Knight. I intend to play this and give it a shot, see if it's any fun. It says it's a dark fantasy action RPG. I love action RPGs in general just because of how much fun the Zelda series is, and I hate JRPG combat.
What did you say?
It's not my favorite. I never understood Hatsune Miku. Maybe I will after grabbing this, or maybe I won't. I don't know. But I know Miku fans are rabid, and I love you. We'll see. Seller gave me a great bundle price on these. Thank you so much. This PS2's a little beat up, but if the price is right...
About 20 bucks.
Let's test the PS2 and see if it works.
It did not work.
I should have known better. I find myself wanting to recapture the initial high from when I first started getting into collecting. One of the less sneaky ways that this might happen is when we transfer our love of one game library to another. I played PS1 and N64 quite a bit at that time that they came out, so I know something about the PS1 library, but I really loved the N64. But what do you do when you've collected all of the N64 games that are in existence and all of their original boxes? Well, maybe the PS1 has a lot of stuff to offer. In fact, the PS1 sort of feels like the NES in that it's a huge library with a really wide slate of games, from ultra quality, classic trend-setting games to just dismal shovelware. But even if I got really into PS1 collecting and I learned everything I could possibly know about that library, at some point I would still reach the end of the knowledge base that's there. It's ultimately finite. These things have an end to them. Which leads me to this question of, so now what? Where do collectors go from here? So what do you got today? Let's highlight you again.
Yeah. I just have about a couple of stuff, not as much as usual, because somebody came the other day.
Oh.
And they were like, I'll take this, that.
Oh, wow.
How fun is that?
And it's all custom made. I did it myself on the computer. This is, what is it, Black Clover?
Speaking of buying more consoles,
You got first dibs. Do you want to ask? 'Cause I definitely will if you don't.
Go for it.
How much is 64? 70? Both controllers?
$70 for complete N64 is already a great deal, but when you throw in the extra original Nintendo controller, and it's not a great controller, it's a black controller, this is a great deal. I would value this at about $120.
I always get a lot of games.
Do you?
Yeah, last time I got a bunch of PlayStations and other stuff.
Oh, man.
I mean, as soon as I get up,
All gone.
Thanks for the awesome deal to the seller.
I mean, can't say no to 64 for $70 or two controllers. I almost did. Glorious original Xbox. I'd love to see it. I'm kind of a sucker for these arcade racers.
Fans of the channel, and I know there's millions of you,
What'd you say?
know that I am a super fan of arcade racing games. This is one that I might have had a long time ago, but this Hot Wheels era of racing games, these games were generally okay, but I don't remember if I played this one or not, so I want to give this one a try. It's in mint perfect condition, and Bernie hooked it up with the prices on this
Are
one.
these like 20 a piece, 25?
20, 25, depending on
I
condition.
assume this is 15 at most.
25, 20.
$25 game?
And this is like mint.
Cool. 60 bucks?
20 for everything.
Yeah, that's good deal.
I'm happy about it.
This complete?
Thank you, Bernie, as always. Dang, dude.
for the picture and the helmet, 25.
Gotta visit Michael's booth, and he never disappoints.
All right, so just dug through Michael's booth at all this stuff. We've got Prison Break at 16, Road Rash at 18, a sealed brand new copy of Dragon Quest at 60, and Top Gun at 5.
Prison Break, complete for $16. This game's gone up to being about a $35, $40-ish game, but Michael's like, I don't care, like, good for you, you got a deal, so score on that one. Never saw the show. Road Rash 2 on the Sega Genesis, love this series, really want them to bring back Road Rash to modern consoles. I'd take an HD upgraded version that just smooths out some pixels. The gameplay is so solid on this. I played this game for hours and hours on my Game Gear as a kid and loved every iteration thereafter. I have it on the PS1, still enjoy it on the PS1. And I think the N64 version is one of the more underrated, dare I even say, hidden gem.
What did you say?
I grabbed this for my collection, which I was joking about at Retro Games Plus because I just wanted it for the FMV stuff here on the back.
Maverick, son, do you want that trophy or not?
No, he doesn't.
But you sure look cool.
You two would fight over a game of tiddlywinks.
And then as I'm leaving, he's like, hey, I got something else that I haven't put out yet, but a brand new factory sealed copy of Dragon Quest VII on the Nintendo 3DS. Is it loose in there?
$94.99.
Yep.
Work for you?
It works for me.
Thank you. When I take away the dopamine rush of finding a game at a good price or something new to play, and that begins to be less and less exciting, it reveals what I ultimately love about video game collecting. The community. I don't want to stop being a part of this community. I don't want to stop going on game hunts, going to expos, hanging out, making videos, finding cool things out there for great deals, and being a part of this whole ecosystem because it brings me so much joy. At this stage of being a collector, though there are new things that I do discover and find that I didn't know were there before, not much of it feels new anymore. And that's okay. What it reveals ultimately is the thing that I love about all of this is not just the games, it's all the stuff around it. So one of the centering questions that I ask myself is, if now is not enough, how would I know when it is enough? Thinking on that question can really help to put things into perspective about how far to take things rather than how far things are taking you. This morning has been crazy. I think it's the power of the cardigan and Mike's beard in combination. $3. It's the box and the inserts and everything like that. No console or anything in it, but I'd buy that for $3. So let's talk about this situation. Sarah and her family have had this booth out here for a long time, and these games have been out here for months, maybe even like a year. When I'm in this situation, especially with vendors who I have a previously existing friendship with, I'm okay with, especially going at this point and kind of coming in and saying, look, do you want to just clearance out some of this stuff? I'll give you the prices that I'm willing to pay. And thankfully, she loved that idea and offered me some incredible deals.
I need to come back again.
Okay. If you want to go low on prices, I can make you offers if you just want to get rid of stuff, but...
Yeah, just give me an offer. Just offer.
All right. $5?
Yes.
Can you do 5 on that one?
What about 7?
Okay. Some of these are like, I'd buy for $5 each, but you got them marked at like 15, so.
But it's fine. If you're offering 5, it's fine.
Like 5?
Yeah.
5? 5?
Sure.
Can you do 5?
5 is too low.
Too low. Okay. First of all, I grabbed these 3 N64 games. These NES games were interesting, but it's the game Built to Win that I'd never seen before. I'm going to play this one and see if it's one I want to keep in my collection. Hey, real quick, Formula 1 Built to Win is an excellent racing game. It's sort of like Rad Racer with an RPG component to it where you're constantly upgrading your car to go faster and faster, but it controls and plays like Rad Racer. I came across a review from John Riggs who said it's his favorite, if not the best racing game on the NES. I don't hear anyone talk about this one. If you haven't played Formula 1 Built to Win, definitely keep your eyes open for it. It's a great game. And then went real hard on these games in particular. I have to highlight this one right here. Singularity is like, it's not as good as BioShock because of the story, but it feels like BioShock in the best way possible. So it's an even 130. That's cool? Awesome. Sarah, to you and your family, thank you so much for the awesome deals and for going really low on these prices. I really appreciate it. I see this situation as a win-win. I've done this myself as a vendor where I've had stuff just sitting in my inventory for a long time and it's taking up space and I could use the revenue for other things that I want to get, like the Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut manual, for example. Mike had to take off, but I'm going to do one last lap. This morning has been an incredible morning in terms of finds. It's just wild to me. I just think, there's nothing left. There's going to be nothing. And then there's a bunch of stuff. All right, I got hooked up today. $40 for these 4 games as ever. And the Darth Vader toy for the kids. Bro, thank you.
Gotta hook up the kids.
I have heard Midnight Suns is a lot of fun. I wanted to give this one a try. Josh from the podcast loves this game. And then I had heard that The Quarry is an interesting game from Jen over at Retro Rivals. Have you played these games? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I have missed it so much, going to the swap meet, being out, being with everyone. It has been so busy with expos and...
Mort.
Hello?
Mort.
And with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Through my television.
I can't reveal my identity, but I have something that you need.
A less pretentious video.
No, something else.
Is it tacos?
No, I don't have any tacos.
But don't they sound so good right now?
Yeah, they always sound good.
I'm literally never wrong about tacos.
What about this? That's right. One manual for a subpar game.
Subpar? Go on.
I want the $4,000 that you're budgeting for it.
No.
Wait, what?
That one has a crease. $20.
No.
$40.
$2,000.
Too low.
$5,000.
Too high.
$3,000.
$4,000.
I don't think you know how this even works.
Fine. $2,000. Final offer.
Deal, but I want the money by your next video.
Or else what?
I'll burn it. And since there'll be one less out there, price will go up, you'll never be able to afford one.
You monster!
Good luck. Mort.
Manual!